We've been in this period now for, well, certainly September was, where all these planets were, everything was retrograde, basically. And if you don't know any astrology, just skate along with this because you'll get the general gist of what this all means. And now in October, we really come to this turning point. And part of why I wanted to do this call in person is because yesterday, is today the 3rd, or today's the 4th, Sunday, Mercury went direct. And that was like the starting bell of a race. And as Mercury goes direct, you can feel the energy start to shift, but that's only one of many things. And I bet many of you, I felt it instantly this time. Now, Mercury goes retrograde and direct 3 times a year. So in itself, it's not that big of a deal. You don't always feel it so strongly. But because it's in this larger context of all these other planets about to move and shift, it really was like the starting bell of, a strong new energy. So that just shifted. Saturn, Pluto, which is the ruler of Scorpio and the planet of death and rebirth, that is about to go direct on the 8th. So just in a few days. And at the end of the month, well, more at the 23rd, Saturn, who is the Lord of Karma, is about to go direct. So in the month of October, 3 planets will all be going direct. And we'll get more to Saturn on another call because it's, we'll have other weeks before that. But those 3 are happening. We're leading up to eclipse season, which means these eclipses are markers of massive transition. You get 4 a year. They always come in pairs. Sometimes they even come as a triple. This time it's a pair. The reason they're incredibly strong this time is because they're falling together with all these planets moving forward. So this whole month has a sense of a hand on your back saying it's time to let go and go forward. If you know that there are things you have to do, October is the month to jump in and take the actions. It's just that basic. And this isn't something like you have to run to a psychic reader and say, oh, please tell me what these things are. You know what these things are. These are the things when you're laying there at bed going, I have to leave this relationship, or I have to go back to school, or I have to pay that debt back, or, whatever it is. This is like, trust yourself on what these things are. Now's not the time to doubt yourself. But I'm really talking about in this life, not talking about like future incarnations where you might get to handle this, that, and the other thing. I mean, in this life, in the parabdha karma of this moment, there is something to do. And yesterday, there was this day, I love to follow the Hindu calendar. And there's this day called Durga Ashtami. And it's basically the day that the goddess Durga stands up to the forces of darkness and pulls out her sword and comes at things with this courage and says, enough. And it's this great day. Well, actually, we're still in the finale of Navaratri, the 9 days of the goddess in India. And it was this great time to pray for courage to take the actions you need to take. And since I'm always saying here, offering is not passivity. It's not about laying around hoping that, God comes down and slays the dragon for you. Often God will say, here's a sword, here's a horse, get on the freaking horse and do it. And especially, with the misogynistic training that women get in particular, let somebody else go slay the dragon. it really isn't how offering works. Often, especially when you're dealing with goddesses like Durga and Kali, they're like, no, actually, I have a sword that I can loan you here. Get your act together and do it. And that's the energy that we're in. So that's, the quote I just read you about what Pluto does is really happening from Pluto being about to go direct this week. And then there's one more piece of the puzzle. Well, actually, there's another piece to give you with Pluto, which is as Pluto goes direct, it now begins its final stretch in the sign of Capricorn. And it's going to leave Capricorn in March of 2023. Now, it will go back for a minute or two in 2023, but the gist of it is over in March of 2023. So if you have Capricorn anywhere in your chart, like me, or even if you don't, Pluto is now finishing a passage that went from 2008 to now to March of 2023 in Capricorn. Basically, look back in your life and think what happened in 2008 that is now coming to a grand conclusion. And you really get this chance in the final stretch, these final 5 months that Pluto's in Capricorn. You get this chance of like, are you going to come into your own power or not? Are you going to come into this energy or not? And I don't even call it your own power. I call it letting the divine take the lead and come through you and take the actions that she wants to take.